As a New York City teacher, this is what I deal with. I teach middle school, and I deal with my students in different issues that you as parents may not be privy to. Such as I deal with issues such as race in the classroom. I deal with issues such as self-esteem. For example, oh, Miss H, we're going on a trip. Yeah, we're going on a trip. I don't want to get too black. I don't want to be out in the sun too long. And I've got to deal with that as a teacher. I can't ignore that. And there was a time when I taught, and I also had conversations with my students who would say things and make fun of other people's ethnic characteristics. You make that a teaching moment if you're a good teacher. You don't overpass it. Other things came up, such as weight, sexuality, so many discussions that you as parents don't realize that a good teacher honestly has to stop the classroom to discuss. And I did so. And there were so many times I looked for a book to implement, to help out in these conversations, and there weren't any. We speak of diversity, but we don't really speak of diversity. Diversity includes those with special needs. Diversity includes those, when I look at a children's book, yes, I'm interested in definite natural hair, as you can see, but I want a discussion on melanin. I want a discussion on why this young girl or this young man should see himself as beautiful. I want a discussion on ethnic characteristics as a teacher. And I want a discussion on being overweight and what that means in the classroom and how we should have cultural sensitivities to deal with those issues. But there weren't any. So my husband will tell you I'm the type of woman that if it's not out there, I'm going to make it happen. And I did. And the beautiful thing about it is that though I didn't get published at a big publishing house, I was told by publishers that there's no need to see Muslim girls. And there's no need, this is all, of course, before everything started happening just a few months ago. There was no need to see Muslim girls. There was no need to discuss melon. So we self-published. And we did so and opened up a business called Diversity is a Verb. We now have a huge following. We have, in the self-published world, something that's unseen, which is we've sold over 1,000 books in less than 3 months. Thank you. And we've done that because there's a need. We've been able to tap in. And I, as a special ed teacher, wanted my other students to know who had special needs. Your images and perceptions are important. Because if they weren't, I didn't tell you that I majored in African American history, did I? So hold on. If they weren't important, they wouldn't be erasing it from our books. If they weren't important, they wouldn't be taking your rights away every chance that they can. Because they realize our importance of our history, our perception, our images are extremely important. It's why we fight to be seen on magazines and commercials, because we understand the need of seeing who we look like. So when the children's book came out, it was nice. And we moved to a business, like I said, Diversity is a Verb. And my husband and I decided that for the contributions of New York City schools, which have bought our book, we've had maybe 5 or 6 schools purchase it in the thousands of copies, so that's been wonderful. But we give back. We donate 10% to the Talent Foundation, and that's a foundation that gives to inner city youth kids. And they help support them with after school programs. Because I didn't want to just be an author, I wanted to be an activist. And through activism comes literacy. So that's why this event is so important, not just for me as a teacher, but for me as a parent, for me as an activist, to see you here and supporting literacy programs, because it means that you know the importance of it. And when you can take that back to your own household and rear your children up and tell them the importance of literacy, read them books, have them read to you, discuss it, it makes us very happy. We also support a sickle cell foundation with our money. Why? Because some of you will know that sickle cell is indigenous to people of color. So we make sure that our money goes out into different programs around. And right now, we happen to be dealing with, is it the Ohio State School?
Yes.
The Ohio State School that decided to say something about President Obama, but still keep 2 baseball players on. So we're tackling that. So the beautiful thing about it is that we decided as the corporation grew, and we had shirts and we had bags, that we wanted to also teach parents how to do and maneuver the school system. See, because you also don't know the ins and outs, and I did. So when I started speaking to parents, I started to let them know my son was classified. They like to classify him. He's 20 now, so. But when he was younger, they classified him as ADHD. Now it was funny because as a kid, we were all ADHD. We all And I never like to let them know I'm a special education teacher. And he went to a private school, and they decided to sit me down and discuss why my son was running amok and why he couldn't sit down. In the meantime, other children who weren't as middle-aged as my son were running around the school as well, but mine was classified as ADHD. And some of you will know that special ed has been encompassed with young black men. So after I listened to the woman and I was respectful, I did go over my resume in a very small way. And after I went over my resume, I went and spoke to my doctor, his pediatrician, and got a 501 form. So this way you don't have to classify him as special ed, but guess what? You want to give him all the services he needs since you said that. So now what I do also is I educate parents on how to maneuver the system, not just as a special ed person, but as a person or a special needs teacher, but as a person who says, listen, this is a system that's been set up. It's been set up in terms of their zoning. It's been set up in terms of what they teach. Black History Month, of course, was in February. I had to fight to even discuss Malcolm X. But you as parents have way more power than I do. It's for you to say, I don't see anything happening here for Black History Month. What are we doing as a school? See, because I can go to my child's school and say that, and they already know me. So they're going to come up with events. And we're not going to just talk about Martin Luther King. We're not only just going to talk about Rosa Parks. I want to hear little Nat Turner. I want to hear other people. I want to hear about Harriet Tubman. And I want my children to know about them. It's so important as people of color that we begin to teach our children, that we begin to teach them the importance and the beauty of them. We have always been a people and a race of people of strength. We have always been a race of people of intelligence. And I see that every day in my classroom. And that book perpetuates that.